Hello and welcome to our session today. So today we're going to look at the missing number challenge. Basically this is that given a list of numbers like 3, 0, 1, there's one missing number. For this number to be all the numbers between 1 and 0 and 3 to be represented, because all the numbers from 0 to 3 is 0, 1, 2, 3. So there's a missing number here, which you can see is 2, right? So 2 is the missing number. So basically this is all about this challenge. So one way we can do this is to count from 0 up to n and find that missing number. And how can we do that? We can sum up the original array, like if it's 3, 0, and 1, we sum these up. Okay, do a sum of this, which is 1 plus 0 plus 3, you get 4, and do a sum of a normal order, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, and this one will give us 0 plus 1 plus 2, that is 3, plus 3 is 6, and then just do the difference of this, so you can know that the missing number is 2. So that is one way. So if we write the code for this method 1, let's write the code for that. So let's call it function missing number using JavaScript. Number should text in the array. So one thing to know, if a number is missing, if the array length, if 3, 0, 1, if that array length is 3, it means the original one was supposed to be 4. Okay, so that's how we can tell if a number is missing. So the original one, then it means this is our n. So we should be moving. No, rather this is our length, okay? But our n is not really 4. Our n is 3 because you're moving from 0, 1, 2, 3, which is the n. So 0 to n, because n is included in that list, but the length here will be n plus 1. Okay, so let's do this let's do the sum for this, and we're going to do it progressively. Let's do the long way, and then we can simplify, refactor that code. So the long way will be to sum up all this. So let's do the sum for that array. So let's call it sum1. Let sum1 be equals to 0, and then for let a number of array, we'll just do sum1 plus equal number, just add in the number to that, and then we get, that's our sum1. Then our sum2 will be, so let sum2 be equal to 0, and then for let I equal to 0, I less than. So this is the tricky part. Make sure that the I here is now the length the length of the original array, which is the 0 to n. So the original one would be the current length plus 1. So it will be array dot length plus 1 I plus plus. Okay, and those will be the numbers. So how will you do that? So we just keep sum adding up to the sum plus equal plus equal I, and then our missing number would be just the difference. Return sum 2. Sum 2 will be the bigger one minus sum 1. So that is it. That's our method 1. So, but this method 1, we can still make it a bit better. We can refactor this code. So let me just grab this so that you do it side by side. You notice that we are doing these loops while the same work here, we can still do it within. Okay, because knowing that we are counting this from 0 up to the length, we can then just do our refactor. Let's call it function still. Missing number array. Let sum 1 be equal to 0. Let sum 2 be equal to 0. Okay, because we know that this loop will run the length, which is our n plus 1. So this loop will run n times, basically it will run this number of times. Let's just call it our n, for example. So it means we just need we need this loop to run one time longer, or we can run this loop one time and then do the additional plus 1 manually. So we can do for let num of array. Okay, or actually what we can do is now that we know that 0 here, remember when you're doing plus equal I and we're adding 0, it's not really adding anything to the sum. We can actually say that we will start at 1 instead of I 0. So we can make actually our let our I be 1, and therefore no need to add any extra plus 1. So we can say let num of array, and then our sum 1 will stay the same. So this will stay the same here, sum 1 plus equal num, and then we keep incrementing our I to the sum 2 plus equal I, and then we I plus plus, okay, or I plus equal 1. At the end of the day, we'll have our sum 2 and we'll have our sum 1, and then just return sum 2 minus sum 1. Okay, so that's the first way. The second way is there is a rule called the sum rule. There are many summation rules, but one of the summation rules says that if you have numbers from 1 up to n and you want to sum them, if you want to sum those numbers, it says that the sum will be equal to n times n plus 1 over 2. Sometimes mathematically it's written this way. Summation of, from where they use k most of the times, where k equals to 1 up to n. If you are summing k's, that the summation will be equal to this. That's one of the summation rules. There's some more other summation rules for n squared, n cubed, but for just n, that is the rule. So if we use the summation rule, we will not need to do this part where we were summing up these numbers. Okay. Once we have our n, we can apply the summation rule. So let's rewrite this function of ours again, function missing number. Takes an array. So we'll still do the sum of the array. This first part will be the same. We'll do it. We'll sum up those numbers. So let's sum 1 be equal to 0, and then for let's num of array add it to the sum. Okay, and then now apply the summation rule. So how do we know our n? Our n here now, our n will be array.length, and I'll explain. I think I also explained earlier, but let me explain again, that if we have our numbers like the one we had 3, 0, 1, but the original list was supposed to be 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, our n here is not really the length of the original array, but is the length of this array, or is the length of the original array minus 1. Okay, which is the length of the current array. So basically we are talking of numbers from 0 up to n. You see now our n is 3, which is the length of this. And our rule does not include 0, but 0 does not add anything to the sum. Sum plus 0 is just equal to sum. So our rule does not include 0. It talks of 1 up to n. So still we can still apply this rule to a number that starts from 0. Okay, so our n is just the array dot length. That's our n. It's not array dot length plus 1. Okay, so if this is our n, then our sum 2 will be equal to the n times n plus 1 divided by 2, and then I return the difference. Sum 2 minus sum 1. So this is the other way of doing this, a shorter one, using the mathematical rule of summation rule. Okay, thank you. See you on the next one.